You made it, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the If Project Storytelling Fundraiser, aka Virtual Brunch. Woot woot. I imagine that that's the noise you're making in your mind right now. Woot woot. Thank you for joining us this morning, afternoon, evening. I don't know what your life is. I don't know where you are in the world, but you are here with us, and we are super grateful that you have chosen to be here. My name is Janae Johnson. I am one of your hosts for this particular event, and I'm actually social distance hosting right now because that's what 2020 told us to do, told us to social distance host, and I have an amazing person that's gonna hold space for you for this event. I'm just gonna stop right there and let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Janae. Yes, we are socially distanced, but we're connected on so many other ways. So my name again is Debbie Shear, and I get the honor and pleasure to co-host with Janae, and I'm also going to be your partner in fundraising. So let's talk about it, shall we? COVID, right? Now, COVID has impacted every single person as well as every single nonprofit that's working as a nonprofit. And so when we realized that, things needed to change, they were going to change, thanks COVID, the IF Project had to make some big decisions, right? So they could have decided to postpone this event. And that was a little, they're not sure. When will we be allowed to meet again in person? They could have canceled the event, but ultimately they decided that canceling the event has too much negative impact on the clients that they serve. So the IF Project made some big decisions and had big conversations and decided let's swivel to a virtual brunch. And that's why we're here today, and that's why you're here today. And we're so happy and grateful that you chose to swivel with us and show up in this virtual space. So yes, it's true, social distancing, it prevents us from giving each other hugs and meeting in person and pats on the back and kisses and all of those things that we love as humans in order to connect. But the one thing that social distancing cannot and will not do is it won't prevent us from showing our love and commitment to the IF Project. So thank you again for being here. I know it's new, and thank you for your flexibility. And speaking of new, there's someone that I'm going to bring to the virtual stage right now who's newish. Some of you may recognize her, some of you have met her before, but I'd love to introduce Andrea Anderson, who's the newish executive director of the IF Project. Hi.
Hi. Oh, to be surrounded by such amazing humans. Thank you so very much, Janae and Debbie, for kicking us off this morning. It's my privilege to be here, and I wanted to start us out right. As you will hear throughout our program, IF is now, more than ever, stepping into the fray and fighting the systems underpinning racism, misogyny, the patriarchy, and fascism in our country. One of the many intentional ways we are showing up and doing the work around eradicating racist systems in our country is acknowledging the land on which we are meeting and the original stewards and inhabitants of that land. Our goal with this practice is to remind ourselves that every issue we look at is part of a much bigger issue with much larger ramifications and much far-reaching relationships. This acknowledgement is not meant to be a one and done. It is an opportunity for us to be curious, to listen, to learn, to sit with discomfort, to absorb some potentially new knowledge for some of us, to seek to understand and to actively participate in the dismantling of these oppressive systems. So today, for those folks joining us in Western Washington, we are meeting on Duwamish and Coast Salish tribal lands. Most of us are guests on this land. The Coast Salish people are the original and current stewards of this land who continue to enrich this region with their presence. I ask that we take this moment to thank the original caretakers of this land, both past and present, and consider the legacies of colonialism and the resulting systems of oppression that contribute to the disparities impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color in this country and on our planet. I'm going to turn it back over to our amazing MC, Debbie.
Thank you, Andrea. See, we've all been practicing our social distancing dance and sidestep. So we have got that down. If anybody needs advice, put it in the chat. We're happy to help you out with that. So thank you, Andrea, for that land acknowledgement. And before we get too far down the road, I do want to give you a little bit of just a piece of technology advice. So we found it can be a little bit challenging if you're trying to watch this event on your phone and also donate on your phone. So my recommendation to you is to watch the event, participate in the brunch on your laptop, your desktop, even if you have a wicked smart TV, you can do it that way, and go ahead and donate on your cell phone. And we're going to go ahead and make sure we'll put another slide up for you so that you know how to donate. As always, if you have any challenges whatsoever, just drop that in the chat. We have chat promoters who are waiting to engage with you, and they are going to help you out completely. Now, I'm going to ask every single person watching right now to do one thing. One thing that will not cost you a penny and will take just a few seconds of your time. If you're watching on Facebook, I want you to lean in just a little bit more. Okay, maybe a little bit more, and hit share. And go ahead and share this broadcast out to your community of family, of coworkers, of friends, because the more people that we can share this broadcast with, the more people who are now learning about the IF Project and really falling in love with the IF Project, just like you. If you are watching on YouTube, then we would ask you to copy and paste the link to this broadcast. Again, sharing it so people can participate. So if you are one who likes to put photos up, and if you're one of the kids who likes to Instagram and knows how to do that, please do Instagram and just hashtag what's your story. So again, thank you for being here. And now I'm going to turn it over to our co-host, my co-host, Janae, to walk us through the agenda.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for that. Hope you all shared that online. Make sure you follow those directions. So you might be wondering, what even is a virtual brunch? What's about to happen? Who's gonna make my omelet? Who's gonna make my omelet? I can't answer that last question, but I can tell you what to expect from us within the next hour. So we are going to watch some powerful videos because unfortunately we could not have everybody here, but we have some powerful videos to share what the IF Project is all about. We're going to hear from our co-founder of the IF Project, Kim Baguki. We're going to reintroduce Andrea Anderson, the new-ish executive director. We're going to award the Changing Path Award recipients. We are going to talk about ways that you can give, support, and engage with the IF Project. And we're going to end with some music, because we all need some music in our lives. This is even in a real event. If it does not have music, my dad would say. So we have a surprise musical guest at the end of the show with an original song, followed by a dance party. That sounds fun, yeah? Yeah? Hope you're nodding your head. So I need your help. We all need your help. We cannot see you. We're just assuming that y'all are out there and engaged. What you can do to help us out is participate by hitting up the chat, the comments. Tell us what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Drop an emoji. As a matter of fact, drop an emoji right now, right? Surprise us. Wave your hands, smiley face, anything that you want to do. Drop an emoji. Let us know that you're here. That's how we know that you're present, you're engaged, and that you want to be here. We need those affirmations. We need reflections. If you hear something you like, you can say, I love a good sound effect. That's about 10 words right there, 10 letters right there. Right? Just give us anything that you are willing to give us for your energy, right? So, speaking of affirmations, because I love affirmations, I do want to shout out the board of directors of the IF Project for all of their support, all of their leadership, all of their visible and invisible work. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's get this thing going. We're about to hear a short yet powerful video that describes what the IF Project is all about. Our partnerships with the women who are directly impacted by incarceration. Check it out.
I'm not from Virginia and I'm not slim, but I've come a long way, baby.
You've been down for a while because I can remember
I've been old for a while. After all these years of soul searching, coming to an understanding of who I am, my place in the world, and what the possibilities can be from here on out, I need opportunity. The opportunity to be useful and to use all that I've learned and gained to add to my community. I need for my time, when it's over, to be over and not to be held against me once it's over. I need gainful employment with a living wage. I need the opportunity to contribute. I need the space to make a mistake without it being a signal that I'm coming back to prison. I need to be seen for who I am now and not for what I used to be. I need to be challenged in ways that have nothing to do with my ex-offender status. I don't need my path to be clear. It will get muddy, but I like to have help around its inevitable pitfalls. I need the opportunity to actually be the person I'm becoming. Yeah.
Thank you, Tanya, for sharing your story, a little bit about your story, and as a result, sharing, part of your heart with us. We really appreciate that. I also want to let you know that if you are hashtagging and sending it out, please make sure to hashtag Your Story Matters. So thank you again for all of you who are promoting this on social media. We really appreciate it. So it's my honor to bring up our next presenter, virtually, of course. Now, you probably just caught a glimpse of her in this last video, and most of you probably already know her, so she doesn't need much of an introduction. However, for our new friends who possibly are joining us for the first time, let me introduce Kim Bogucki, one of the co-founders of the IF Project. So Kim is a native of the Pacific Northwest, a 32-year veteran of the Seattle Police Department, has developed internationally replicated programs that create dialogue around issues of social justice between members of law enforcement and the communities they serve. Kim speaks internationally about criminal justice reform and has delivered 3 TEDx talks. She is the heart and soul behind the manifestation of the IF Project. And if you've ever been on a Zoom call with her, you know she is absolutely everybody's favorite person to be on a Zoom call with. So please join me in welcoming to our virtual stage, Kim Bogucki.
Ta's been one of the pillars to IF from the very beginning 12 years ago. My name is Kim Bogucki. I'm a Seattle police officer and one of the founders of the IF Project, and I am so honored to be able to welcome you to the 2020 IF Project Brunch. There's some good things about virtual. I can show up right out of the shower with my wet hair. 2020 has been rough. COVID is no joke. I hope you're wearing your masks. I hope you're being safe. I hope you're taking care of yourself. And I hope that you're also trying to find some silver linings in 2020 that I am as well. So the IF Project started back in 2008. I walked into Washington Correction Center for Women to meet with a group of women. And during that conversation, I asked the question, if there was something somebody could have said or done to change the path that led you here, what would it have been? And little did I know, one of the inmates, Renata Abramson, would ask the women to write those answers down and hand them to me one day, which forever has changed my life. The answers were incredible, and I realized there was something here, and the IF Project was born. I got on the phone to my friend Kathleen Horan, the filmmaker down in Los Angeles, and said, hey, Kathleen, you got to come up and meet these women. Their stories are amazing. It's something that needs to be captured. And honestly, it's what the world needs to know and understand about incarceration so we can really start changing the criminal justice system. And with the 3,000 answers that we have from women, juveniles, and men to that IF question, the IF Project has built programs. You're going to hear a little bit more about that later, and also from some of the clients that have benefited from IF and their stories. They have the ability to change a lot. Now, the one thing that's most important about IF is IF does nothing without having people at the table that are impacted to guide and direct how IF is run and what we do. We like to keep them involved at all times. It's important. Their story matters. Your story matters. Now, a lot of other things have happened in 2020 and some great things for IF because we got too big. So we actually got to hire our first ever executive director. So I'm honored to be able to introduce you to Andrea Anderson and super excited how she's going to lead IF into the next chapter. Take care of yourselves, raise a glass. Happy 12 years IF. I look forward to all the amazing things that you're going to do, and especially during these times, this kind of work and these kinds of programs and these kinds of stories are how we actually change the criminal justice system and put a human face back on people that have been impacted, and also understand the institutionalized racism and systemic barriers that plague our country and actually, unfortunately, cause increased incarceration. These are great times. These are scary times. These are trying times, but these are extremely necessary times. Thank you for showing up today. I hope you learned something. Be well, be safe, be happy. Take care.
Wow. Thank you, Kim, for that amazing introduction of not only IF, but me. I'm honored. She is, as everyone knows, a hard act to follow. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andre Anderson, and I am the first ever, new-ish still, Executive Director of the IF Project, and I'm honored to be here with everybody today. The hundreds of people that are clicking in and joining us this morning, I'm so honored. Thank you so much. And you are right, Kim, 2020 is kicking us all on the backside. It has offered so many challenges and upheavals, and none of us are exempt from it. IF has been going through massive changes just like everybody else. We have had overhaul in our staffing. We have doubled, almost tripled our board. And I'm going to share a little bit about where we've come, what we're focused on, and where we're heading, and really where we need your help. So a little bit about this past year. Gosh, where to start? We've started working from home. We've changed our workshops to be virtual, which is the first of its kind. So there were a lot of stops and starts, but amazing results. We created our first ever internship program where folks have been paid for their emotional labor of sharing their lived experiences. And we're also in the process of creating our very first new advocacy and legislative team and focus. Also, we participated as a team, IF's board, staff, volunteers, in our very first strategic planning this year. And I couldn't be more excited to share with you the results of that. One of the most exciting pieces of the process was us being able to reaffirm our commitment to and intentionality around becoming and living as an anti-racist organization, something that IF has been doing for years, and yet we really wanted to put a stake in the ground and say this is no longer something we can't be overt about. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment this morning to acknowledge the ongoing atrocities that are happening in our country every day to our Black and Brown Indigenous neighbors. IF was founded on the radical premise that listening to the stories and lived experiences of incarcerated women was essential to helping them heal, change their trajectories, bear witness to their truths, and use those truths to help change the racist systems that are currently in place. Today and every day, we reaffirm our commitment to fighting injustice, standing up to those who abuse their powers, and standing with our BIPOC family members against the tyranny of racism in all its forms. I'm so excited to share with you our brand new mission and vision. I get goosebumps every time I share them. Our mission, together, through the power of storytelling, education, and bearing witness, we transform ourselves, our families, and our communities to dismantle systemic barriers, to end institutionalized racism and mass incarceration. A really bold statement I am incredibly proud to stand with and behind every day. And our vision, when we're able to achieve it, our vision is we envision a world without mass incarceration and the impacts it creates. A world where our communities provide pathways to equitable opportunities, where we are all valued and are free to explore who we want to become. Whew, that's a lot. Those are heavy and important, and I'm so excited. Again, you can't see it, but there's goosebumps. So what's next? Well, I'm glad you asked. We need everyone's help to achieve that vision and to make sure that the mission is not just something on paper, but that we are actually walking the talk. So we're going to be growing our staff, more to come. We're going to, in fact, meet the needs to be gender responsive with all of our programming and expand it into new areas regionally. We're going to continue to change our workshops to transfer all of them to a virtual reality so that we can continue to share the important message that the women who have been incarcerated helped craft. We're creating our first ever advisory council, which I'm very excited about, made up totally of formerly incarcerated folks who are committed to making sure that IF is on the right track, sharing their powerful lived experiences as the experts in the room for us to ensure our work continues as relevant and timely steered by those directed at impactly, as if has been from the very beginning. And lastly, for now, this is the last time you'll hear from me about this anyway. We're excited to create our first ever advocacy and public affairs work, focusing on changing the very systems that have been stacked against so many of us from the start. Whew, that's a lot. All right, is everyone ready? Are you ready to dig in? So, one thing I know more than anything is that we can't do any of this without your help. None of it. So at any time during the program, you can text "if brunch" to the number down on the bottom of the screen to 206-736-3167 and donate at any time. We are so excited to continue the work that IF has been doing for years and for starting to make some good trouble, to quote one of my favorite humans. I believe that next, Janae is going to share a bit about the amazing women who actually are the voices and the reason that we are all here. Janae?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Andrea. So the IF Project is all about storytelling, asking meaningful questions to help us get closer and closer to the truth. The question, what if, is such a good one because it helps us reflect on our past and also create possibilities for our future. The women in the video that you are about to see, they stumbled upon the if question somewhere along their journey, and they were brave enough to share their stories with you today. You're gonna hear from 5 amazing women. And once you watch the video, when you watch the video, if you hear something, say something. Let them know that you care, that their story matters. Please hit up the chat box, let them know, affirm them, validate them that their story matters. So without further ado, I want you to give all of your love, all of your energy, and all of your attention to Chelsea Sumter, Gail Brashear, Denise Dean, Silas Singh, and Katie Ruiz. Check them out.
My name is Chelsea Sumter. For a long time, though, I went by inmate Sumter 877383.
To get a better understanding of the person I am today, I have to begin with the person I was back then. A victim, if you will, suffering from the chains of addiction. It takes no prisoners, and especially in my case, it caused me to overlook the importance of the real things in life.
I grew up in Southern California, so I've always thought of myself as being from California, but because I've done so much time at the women's prison, 25 years, I feel like naturally now it's like I'm from Washington, but not the state of Washington, from the prison of Washington. There were some things that happened when I was a very young girl that I didn't remember until I got a little bit older, and when I started questioning about those things, it brought up a lot of family secrets that were pushed underneath the rug, and it made me feel like I was victimized all over again. And so I learned how to stuff secrets and hide my demons, and learned how to not have a voice at a very young age. And it eventually led me into a crowd of people that I could have my voice. I could be myself. Anything went with them. And I started using drugs. And by 13, I was basically not a ward of the state, but I was put on a youth at risk contract where my parents were no longer held accountable for my actions.
I mean, I was born in addiction, been in addiction for 40 years. This is the first time in a long time that I've had this much clean time and been able to do the things that I'm doing now.
9 months ago, I had been living on the streets with a heroin and drug meth addiction, and basically lost all will to live. Like, I just had lost everything, you know what I mean? And I had come to a place where it was like I just didn't want to live anymore. I thought that that was my life, and I'd accepted it. I couldn't see a way out. Like, I thought that that was what my life was going to be.
By the time I was 15, I was arrested for a robbery that had gone wrong and ended in the life of a man's life. I was sent to prison for 50 years and thought I was never going to be released. I had a lot of challenges and struggles growing up inside the prison as a juvenile, and it took a lot of determination and self-will on my part to find who I was and what I wanted to be in that toxic environment. My journey with the IF Project started over 10 years ago. It was brought to the attention of me by an inmate who asked me a question if I'd be willing to write a letter about my life for a detective who was trying to make a difference. My first response to her, a detective? I don't associate with cops. Thanks, but no thanks.
I first heard about the IF Project through, I believe it was a bulletin that I'd seen on the resource board that they have in the day room. And it just basically kind of had the rundown of, what if, had the question. And I was like, well, what is that all about? You know what I mean?
I first started hearing about the IF Project around 2014. A few of my friends in the prison started getting involved with the program, and I could see how it was starting to positively impact their lives. But honestly, when I first started getting involved in the program, I thought it was just going to be like every re-entry or self-help program I had taken there. And I was really skeptical.
My roommate suggested the IF Project, and that was where I was first introduced. I had met Brittany from the IF Project. We did a one-on-one. She told me that they could help with multiple things, and she suggested the opiate reentry program.
I recognized right away the differences in simple things like how they talk to us and how they take the time to specifically identify and help us identify what our issues and anxieties are, especially around reentry.
One of the most helpful programs was the mentoring program. They matched me with this amazing lady named Tara Jensen. We immediately connected and we had a lot of things in common. She was extremely helpful for me. The first question I remember that she asked me was just, how are you doing? And that meant so much to me because it's one of the first times that I was able to actually talk to somebody who I felt had my best interest in mind.
I feel like the facilitators were a lot more compassionate and more understanding, and they just made the space like hella comfortable. I mean, Amber Flame was just just like warm, you know what I mean? Like you walked in there and it wasn't like you weren't in a class, you were sitting down like, hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? You know what I mean? And they were really down to earth with us. So, I mean, like their personal connection with us was important.
It took me a minute to figure it all out, like get the license and school and all of that, but I'm starting school in a week for my BA in political science at Evergreen. And there's an internship that they offer there that will be offered next quarter to work with the state capitol senators. So that's really exciting for me.
Right now I'm living in a transitional home. It's called New Connections in Tacoma. I'm the residential manager intern over there. So I'm helping the girls just kind of acclimate themselves to living out with their life, trying to get them started on like getting a job, doing resumes, kind of stuff like what Reprep kind of did with us.
Now, yeah, I'm working full time. I see my kids once a week. Got my driver's license. I do a lot of NA 12-step meetings a week. Try to give back as much as I can. Yeah, I'm like actually just a productive member of society now, like, which is amazing. Never thought that would happen.
Well, right now I went from being a chef and working 60 hours a week to a stay-at-home mama. And during that, I decided, I have all these skills and I have a desire to, I don't know how to put it, please others. Like when I serve people my food and they enjoy it, that brings me joy. And I have a helping heart, whether it's through speaking, whether it's through cooking, whatever it is. So why not use that and combine it into getting my business license to start a catering business? I feel like it's important for me to give my voice to the issues of mass incarceration and to get people who don't have any relation to prison to understand what the consequences are of taking an individual and putting them away for life. And it's a waste of taxpayers' money. It's a waste of a life. It's a waste of things that could be utilized in society and in the community.
The IF Project is a reentry program that breaks down barriers.
They helped me get my life back together.
I consider myself really lucky in the state of Washington to have the support that IF gives, because when I have the anxiety at home that I don't know how to get online and figure out how to do medical, I don't know how to get a doctor. I've never had to do that before. I'm able to call up staff at the IF office and they'll walk me through it. And it's just natural because we've already established a foundation with one another. So it's easy for me to be vulnerable with them and express my needs.
I love my IF bracelets. People ask me about them all the time, and because a lot of people don't know about it. And I wear one on each hand because I'm never going to be in cuffs again. And this reminds me that I don't ever have to wear handcuffs again. And so I love that. I don't take them off.
Today, I'm no longer just inmate Sumter, number 877383. Today, I go by Chelsea.
How are you not crying?
Well, you don't, I have had some emotion around this. It is such a powerful
Wow.
video.
Chelsea, Gail, Denise, Cy, and Katie, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us. And I too have my IF power bracelet on today.
It's not easy. You know, it's not easy to answer that question and show up in your most vulnerable state. So we are, you know, forever grateful that their willingness to share.
Absolutely.
And so now we have this really beautiful and unique opportunity to all come together as a community. As we stated before, and Janae pointed out, and obviously by now you have all figured it out that you are participating in a virtual brunch. The way we ask you for your financial support is going to look just a little bit different as well. So again, at any point throughout the entire program, you may text IF Brunch to 206-736-3167. But the way we're going to do this is I will be chatting with Andrea, and we're going to be calling out some different dollar amounts. And when you hear a dollar amount that speaks to you, both financially and emotionally, I'm going to challenge you to give at that time. Now, great news, and this is no surprise to any of us here, right? We have some very excited and committed people. You've already started giving, and we're so grateful for that. I think right now we're close to, or if not at $13,000. Oh, so close. We're $12,945. So I know somebody out there right now is going to donate $55, right? Or 45. I don't know. It's the math. It doesn't matter. Somebody back there is doing the math. Thank you. Thank you for that. But let's think about this. You know, individually, there's only so much we can do. Yep. But when we come together as one community, and right now there's close to 200 people who are participating, we can have a huge impact on the IF project and the individuals that they serve. So let's start, right?
Let's do this.
Let's start with a number. Let's start with $10,000.
Yikes, that's a big number.
It is a big. If you said it wasn't a big number, I would expect you to write a check right now. That's all I'm going to say. But you agree, it's a big number because it has a huge impact. And great news, as I see, we have somebody who stepped up at the $10,000 level anonymously, and we appreciate that so much. So $10,000, you have somebody who's already stepped up to give that amount, right? And I think, we're going to ask from time to time if we could see that that fundraising leaderboard on just to check in and keep things going. That would be great.
Look at that number.
I know. And you noticed something else up there.
I know it. Oh my gosh. Lori, thank you for giving. I really appreciate it. And my Hanai parents from Hawaii thank you for dialing in this morning. My gosh. And did you know one of the reasons that we're here is to help women get their education, just like some of the speakers also said? Do you know that education is the quickest way out of poverty, and that poverty is the number one reason why women are in prison?
Yeah, that makes sense. So anything towards education is helpful. And I see you have another organization that stepped up, actually not an individual, but an organization at the $5,000 level.
Yes. Thank you so very much. First Security Bank, who's our bank as well as many of our clients' bank, has stepped in the $5,000 level. Thank you so very much. Holy moly. Ravi and his team over at First Security, thank you for supporting the work we do. They also work with every woman who gets released and starts them off with a financial literacy class and gets them started with their first ever savings account.
That's excellent. That's amazing. What ongoing support, even during these difficult times, right, where so many sponsors have not been able to continue to step up or show support, they have maintained, and we're really, really grateful for that. And so we've seen the 10,000. We know what the 10,000 and the $5,000 can do. And let's just chat for just briefly, like what could $2,500 do for the IF project?
$2,500 would be able to support one of our women for 3 months with housing, clothing, job search, and get her connected with a laptop computer. So for $2,500, you could make sure that a woman is taken care of for 3 months, which is usually the amount of time it takes for each of us to get on our feet, to get a job and make sure that we have solid housing over our head.
So if that number speaks to you, $2,500, go ahead. You can donate now. You can donate at any level at any time. But you bring up such a great point. Like, just because you're released from prison, the next day, things are not in place, right? It takes time. It takes commitment. It takes money.
Yeah.
And so it's really great to see what these resources can go to help people transition and get back on their feet. So when we talk about that, we could talk about, $1,000 and
Sure.
what that might do for the IF project.
$1,000 would really help us continue to be able to not only offer our mentoring program, which Candace was talking about in her speech, but expand it. We have a waiting list. Our mentoring program is a 2-year commitment by both the women who are incarcerated and the women who are out in our community currently, because there's community inside the facilities, who want to just hold space, walk with. So it is much needed, and we would love any amount of money, but $1,000 would really help underwrite the mentoring program.
And if we could get the leaderboard up, because while people are donating at the $1,500 or the $1,000 level or the $10 level, we want to start giving some shout outs, right? Because any dollar amount is appreciated. So right now we have raised $30,145, and that's because of you, people watching who are committed to the IF project. Thank you so much. Chris Nicholson, who came in. We have Granine Perkins, who's in at $200. Thank you for that generosity. Nancy, you were at $100.
Jesse from Bainbridge Island, thank you for being part of us this morning. We really appreciate it. James Mooney, one of my colleagues from United Way of King County. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning.
See, and what's so exciting about this, and you really get a sense of community, right? Because it's all about community. So let's talk about, $500 and $250 and what those dollar amounts can mean, because that might be more accessible to some people who are watching, and you might feel really moved to give at those levels. So $500, $250.
Absolutely. So for $500, that'll help support the IF speaker team being able to bring the message of the women who experience incarceration into our youth facilities with detention and truancy, and be able to carry that message of there are other life paths. So for $500, we would absolutely love to be able to pay our speaker team for their lived experience and make sure that they are being compensated for sharing their story over and over again. Thank you so very much. That would help tremendously.
Absolutely. And so giving money back into the pockets of the people who are doing the work, right? Which we know is a commitment of the IF project. We need to pay people for their labor. So
Absolutely.
That's emotional, whatever that labor looks like. So that's fantastic. So if we could quickly see where we're at, we've talked about 10,000 and 5,000, 2,500, 1,000, 500, 250, and we're getting so much closer to our goal.
Board member.
$32,370. And all of you are just showing up time and time again and donating. And so let's take this down to the $100 level, right? That's a very meaningful level of giving for the IF project.
Absolutely it is. And I think if we even go back to the video that we just watched of these women and sharing their stories about all the things that the IF project has stepped in, when we think about it, take it to its bare minimum. Someone asked a question and then actually listened to what someone had to say, which I think underlying all of the stories, and we have thousands of women who've shared their stories with us, it really is that piece about someone listened to what I had to say, and then someone stood with me, not did it for me, not rescued me, but stood with me while I, holding space, was able to change my path. I think for $100, not only will it help cover transportation to get around to employment, but it'll also help with making sure that we are able to, for the women who need it, set them up with electronic equipment. We have a wonderful partnership with a local company who refurbishes laptops. And so today, in the land of virtual, we can get one of our clients set up with a laptop computer for $200. That's all set up, refurbished, and ready to go.
And that's so huge because we don't know when we're going to fully exit the land of the virtual world. Right. And so having the equipment, the technology necessary to participate and work is key, or pursue education is key.
Absolutely.
So I want to challenge you as you're sitting at home or wherever you're at, maybe you're hosting a watch party and you're thinking about the IF project and a dollar amount that might speak to you. I do want to challenge you to think about the stories that you just heard, right? And think about that question, what if? What would your life look like if someone had asked you that question and then paused and really respected and listened. And more importantly, like, what do you think that would mean if you asked somebody that question, right? What if? It's such a simple question. It has such a big impact to everybody. So I'm going to challenge everybody to think about who that person might be in your life. Maybe it's yourself. Maybe you've had been impacted by the IF project, and maybe think about donating at the $100 level in honor of that person. So I'd love if we could take a peek at the leaderboard and see where we're at. I just know that there's going to be so many $100 gifts that are coming through. So very exciting. And there they are.
Amber
So
Flame.
many, and 150 and 25. And that's the beauty of this. And I do want to say, as we talk about the $50 level, we have something pretty exciting to share.
Yep.
You have some board members who have gotten together collectively, and this is a great way to give, everybody. If maybe you don't have the ability to do it all on your own, you get some people involved. They have collectively contributed $2,500 as a match at the $50 level. So what that means is, could we get 50 people to come in at $50 to unlock that $2,500 match, which, as you can see by the leaderboard, would go a long, long way. So if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, you know what, $50 is accessible to me, that speaks to me, and I want to be part of something that unlocks a higher amount, this is an opportunity for you to do that.
Absolutely. But what if someone's already given?
Well, that's even, I love that.
You can give again.
You can give again. That's the beauty of a text to give. You're not locked out of the system if you've given once.
You haven't written that one check.
No, you can keep going in and donating as things speak to you. I love that. So thank you all, for participating. We're not done. And I do want to say one thing to everybody. If you're sitting at home and you're having your eggs that Janae told you to make, and you're drinking your mimosa or your coffee or your tea, and you're sitting there going, you know what, Debbie, you did not call out the dollar amount that I wanted to give. And maybe that dollar amount is $75,000 to you. Yes. Or maybe you're sitting at home going, you know what, I feel right now at this point in my life, I can give $10 and feel really good about it. Do it. Do it. You can text to give any dollar amount. So we are so grateful. Also, please know that our donation link will remain open until Monday, September 28th at midnight. So here's a challenge to you. You're here, you're participating, you know how important the IF project is and how much you're committed. Between now and Monday at midnight, share these stories, share these videos with your friends and family. Tell them why this organization means something to you, and challenge them to step up and give in any amount. Because as we said before, individually, we can only do so much. But when we come together as one community, we can make a huge impact for the IF project.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so very much.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, we're going to do the dance.
We're going to try and do the
We're gonna
dance.
do the dance. Okay. Thank you, everybody who has stepped up. Thank you, everybody who's given already this morning. Thank you to everybody who gave even before this morning started. We literally cannot do this work without your support and your help. Thank you so very much. So for those of you who've been to our brunch before, you know that every year we have an award called a Changing Paths Award. These awards were created by our founder, Detective Kim Boguki, and she wanted to create some way for us to thank those people in our community, those partner agencies who really went above and beyond and helped change the paths of the women that we are privileged to work with. And Kim usually announces those. So I'm going to step into a little bit of my new executive director prerogative and do the announcing. But this year, I'm excited to share, we have a surprise. This year, we have a special honoree. And the person we're honoring, let's see if you can figure out who it is always there for everyone, going above and beyond what is called for to make sure IF clients, mentors, volunteers, and even donors have exactly what they need. Making calls to everyone, and I do mean everyone, to get whatever she thinks is needed to make sure someone gets what they need. This person is a rule breaker, and in the very best way, creating innovative solutions to issues that community members are struggling with, connecting people from every sector to make things happen. And very few folks, as I keep hearing again and again, have ever been able to say no to this person. She is dynamic, kind, funny, hardworking, fierce and fearless. She is determined and beloved by so many. She finds the good in every person she meets. She challenges all of us to see ourselves as she does, with love and a big old, "You got this." She is the epitome of what a community-focused police officer looks like, breaking the mold and shaking up stereotypes, reaching out with heart and hands to our most disenfranchised neighbors, and making everybody in the room feel special. Her smile and laugh can light up a room. Her hugs, I believe, are medicine. And watching her work a room when she's lit up talking about IF is nothing short of magical. We realize that while we have been here for so many people for so many years, being everyone's cheerleader and champion, that we had never properly thanked and acknowledged her. It is my absolute honor to be standing here today, celebrating the woman who is the reason we are all here to begin with, the one who asked the original question. And to help us celebrate this human, please watch as we are led into the world of celebration, Seattle Police Department's own Chief of Police, Adrian Diaz.
Hello, Kimmy. We've been partners forever. I've watched you build the IF project from the ground up. I've watched you make the difference in so many people's lives. And I've also watched you make a lot of change with the Seattle Police Department. You've always understood how the importance of keeping community's voice at the forefront of everything that we do. I want to thank you for your hard work at SPD. Thank you for the hard work in the community. And thank you for your friendship. Really want you to enjoy today. There are so many others that also want to recognize all of the work that you've done. And here are just a few.
Kim, in a word, a compound word, bridge builder.
4 words for Kim: indomitable, intrepid, fearless, undaunted.
Love redefined.
Kim is my friend.
Kim is fearless.
Kim is compassionate.
If I could describe Kim in one word, it would be caring.
Kim is quirky, and you would know this if you ever flew with her.
As your proud mom, so many words come to mind when I think of you. Communicator, compassionate, caring, confidant, and insightful. All focused on helping and making connections with those around you.
Kim is revolutionary. She's always been on the right side of history.
She cared enough to ask us about the issues that we had that brought us to prison, and then she listened to what we had to say and took those answers and created this program. A program that cares for women, cares for people that are justice involved, and cares about the future that we're going to have. 10 years later, here we are. Who would have known that this is what the program would be and that would affect so many lives?
Kimbo Guki gets an idea, gets a vision, and commits all her resources, all her connections, all her networking to manifesting that vision. And how fortunate for us all that she's turned that kind of persistence into such a force for good, into such a force for healing for so many women.
I've had the great fortune of knowing Kim and being involved with the IF Project almost since the beginning. As a professional fundraiser, I was stunned by how much success she had. She was fearless in terms of asking people to support the mission of IF, and people always said yes to her. And she just didn't give up. Her passion for her work really shines through in everything that she does. Kim, you have changed my life. The IF Project has changed my life, and I'm so grateful to call you my friend.
Kim is compelling. It took one meeting with Kim almost 10 years ago for Rich and me to completely shift our philanthropic focus towards criminal justice reform. It doesn't happen often, but occasionally you meet someone in life who's so dynamic, influential, and passionate that you just want to be part of their world. Kim is a rock star. Rich and I are just two of her many groupies. We're all working together to change systems and change lives.
Throughout the calendar year in 2020, we'll serve upwards of 150 individuals coming out of incarceration and our homelessness and our housing program, all of which might not be possible without Kim and her belief in us as an organization and her belief in the individuals we serve. Thank you, Kim.
Kim helped me to better my life by writing a letter of recommendation for my transportation workers identification card. This was the final process that I needed to become a longshoreman, something that has been in my family for many generations. Thanks, Kim.
I met Kim originally when I was in MCCCW, the Women's Institution, when she brought the documentary for us to see. And at that point, she changed my heart about what it might look like to connect in the community with law enforcement. Professionally, she has changed my life, showing me what it looks like to be a leader in this community and to serve in a peer-on-peer based way with women who are coming out of the institution. So for me, I love you, Kim. Thanks for everything you do.
I am so grateful for your leadership and your friendship. But most of all, I am so amazed and blown away by the many lives you've changed. That is true legacy work, my friend. And I couldn't be more proud and I couldn't be more inspired. Thank you.
Kim has taught me and so many other people about the human condition. She's broadened my horizons for forgiveness. She helps me and all of us understand that a person is more than a list of things they've done wrong in their lives. She believes in rehabilitation, and she believes that there's so much more left to give after a person has reconciled the past.
The IF project is all about hope. Not the passive kind of nice to think about, warm and fuzzy hope, but the active roll up the sleeves, we're going to be there with you kind of hope. The IF project channels Kim Bogucki's boundless energy and focuses on the people who need that hope. And it turns that energy into results. You know, the IF movie, well, I'll admit, I cried throughout the whole thing. The breakfasts make me bawl. That's because hope unleashes our best emotions. The belief that things can get better, things will get better with love and support. So thank you, Kim. Thank you, Renata. Thank you, everybody who started the IF project and who continues there every day. Everybody who ever asked the question or answered the question. We need you now more than ever. We need hope.
My friend, thank you for the way you see people. You've changed our lives and you've changed our world.
Thank you, Kim, for being you. I appreciate you being in my life and in the IF women and children's lives. You've made a positive impact on so many of us, and we're so grateful.
Kim, you are such an inspiration, not only to me, but also to your entire family. Your ability to connect and impact so many is something I am constantly in awe of and treasure. You are as special to me as IF is to so many people. Love you and congratulations on the success of the IF project and you.
What you have been able to do and the impact you've had on people is tremendous. For me personally, you know, you've bridged the gap. You're always talking about where's the gap, and you provided space to amplify my voice in spaces where people who normally wouldn't want anything to do with someone who has been justice involved. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about you. You are willing to have those hard conversations, and especially in a time like this where there's so much going on in the world. It's so important to be able to address these issues about systemic racism, incarceration, all the different things going on in the world, and how do we bridge that gap. And I just want to say I love you. I appreciate you. You could get this award every year as far as I'm concerned. For the 10 years that I've known you, you've been a blessing in my life and have touched so many others. It's incredible, well-deserved. Mwah.
Am I supposed to say something? Well, fuck. That was a surprise. Wow, I'm a little bit, I know you guys are going to find this hard to believe, but I don't really have a lot of words right now. I will say that what came up in my Facebook feed this morning that kind of brought everything home to me was it was 7 years ago today that Renata Abramson was released from prison. And without Renata, IF would not be IF. So she definitely is one of the founders of the IF project. And we all wouldn't be sitting here today if she didn't take that extra step, make herself uncomfortable, and ask that question that I had posed to the inmates to get these answers to get here today. So thank you very much for being here. I'm extremely overwhelmed, and I'm super surprised my girlfriend could keep this from me. But thank you, and yeah. To the IF Project.
Oh, I'm so glad we were able to do that. We lied to you for months. It was awesome. And the fact that the detective didn't find out was my favorite. Kim, thank you so very much for everything that you've done for the community, for IF. I mean, just we're so grateful for everything that you are and that you stand for and that you've helped create.
And if we could get the leaderboard up, I'd love to just give everybody an update, right? Because one of the things that I heard over and over again from the people who love Kim so much and what they were sharing is just this grit and digging in and getting it done, getting that job done, right? No matter what it is. And so we all have come together to get a job, and we're not done yet, but we're at, just to give everyone an update, $35,260. And so my challenge to everybody who's watching, if that video moved you, if you know Kim and you know what she's about, if that moved you, if maybe you just learned a little bit more about her, I'm going to challenge you. And in the Facebook chat as well as the YouTube chat, there is a link for you to follow to donate. Maybe right now would be a great opportunity to donate any amount in honor of Kim, to say thank you for your ongoing commitment, dedication, support, and making the IF Project what it is today. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a changing path right now. We're going to do another dance and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Debbie. Thank you so much. So that's a tough act to follow for sure. But it is my honor to introduce this year's 2020's Changing Path Award winners, community partners and individuals who have gone above and beyond, helping IF be able to achieve everything that we do and be able to stand with us to ensure the fact that the women that we work with have exactly what they need to change their past. So please join me in watching the next video, where each individual is thanked individually by our founder and receives their award.
Hey, it's Kim again, one of the co-founders of the IF Project, and I'm so excited to announce this year's Changing Paths Awards. The Changing Paths Award were started 6 years ago when the IF Project started noticing and really appreciating some of the people that assisted in IF becoming IF. These were people that selflessly gave of their time, some of them gave of their money, constant support in times when we were just rebuilding and making IF what it is. I'm super excited to introduce this year's recipients. These people have gone above and beyond in the last year, and some of them the last decade, in making IF what it is. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce 2020's Changing Path Award recipients. Hi, I am so very happy to give a Changing Paths Award 2020 to Carolyn Presnell. I met Carolyn years ago, and I remember when I first met her, she was the kind of person that showed up, told you exactly how she felt, but the most important thing is she cared about the clients and the people that we were serving. She would go above and beyond. When we needed housing, she works for Weld, we would call her. She'd be like, yep, I got you covered. I'll get your person a house. She shows up at meetings. Her voice is heard. She makes change constantly. And she's a big part of what I consider the extended part of the IF Project. And she just recently joined the board, which we're very fortunate to have. So Carolyn Presnell, I adore you. You're a good friend of mine. I'm so happy that you're in my life and that you're in IF's life doing this important work. You are changing people's paths. Congratulations.
Thanks, Kim. I'll cry. Yeah, I'm so excited to really, actually, I'm surprised to receive this award from IF. I remember when I first met you, you actually changed my path. Is that I met you inside the institution, and you came to bring the IF doc to us to share with us what you were doing in the community to help formerly incarcerated people. And so at that time, I wanted to be a part of IF, and I wanted to be connected to the work that you're doing to change the trajectory of women like me, and change our story about who we are in the community and the way that we show up in the world. So really just thank you so much for this award and for being a part of my life. I love you.
I love you. I'm hugging you from afar. Let's elbow bump. All right. Take care, babe.
Thanks.
Hi. Anybody else tired of these? Please, please, please. I know if you're tired of them, it's so important, especially during COVID. Mask up, be safe, take care of each other, keep your social distance unless somebody's masked up. Anyways, and so we move on. I'm so very excited to introduce you to Stacy Fitzgerald, the second recipient of the 2020 Changing Paths Award. I've known Stacy for probably 6 or 7 years. I met her at Helen B. Radcliffe, which is a Department of Corrections work release facility for women on Beacon Hill, and immediately I knew Stacy was different. She was concerned about the women. She wasn't always concerned about asking permission first, but she said, yes, let's do this. Let's figure out how to get DOC on board and let's do it. That became critically important during COVID, when everybody had to figure out how are we going to serve the women that we're serving, especially in reentry, knowing that we can't see anybody face to face and get proximate anymore. Stacy said, hey, let's do this. Let's figure out how to get computers in the facility, got approval, and now we have computers in the work release facility. The women are able to be involved in their own reentry, learn technology, and make the necessary change in order to come home and be successful in their reentry. And not just this. Every time I talk to Stacy, it's about the women. Whether it's a text or it's a call or it's an email or whatever it is, she's like, what can we do? How can we do this? How, more importantly, can we all be collaborative in this process? So Stacy, I'm super excited because I feel like I've gotten to know you as a friend. It's super important that the work that you're doing, and I'm glad that we have a partnership and we're collaborative in what we're doing. So congratulations on being a recipient for the IF Project's Changing Paths Award. You have changed many people's pathways, including my own.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. It's been a great pleasure to work with the IF Project, and I feel honored that you called me and donated all those computers, because ever since I've seen more success than I've seen in the years I've been at Radcliffe. So, I mean, it would take me an hour to describe everything. So.
Well, thank you for being open to the possibility of making that change and pivoting in the time of a global pandemic. And it is about the women that we serve. So thank you for being a part of that team and making change. Take care. Fist bump, elbow bump.
Hello. So our third and absolutely not least Changing Paths Award for 2020 goes to Lakeisha Kiwi Hamilton. How do I even describe what Kiwi has done for the IF Project? I remember her probably 11 years ago, 12 years ago, when we started in WCCW, being a part from the very beginning. And I would say that she's one of the pillars of what has made the IF Project what the IF Project is. She spent a lot of time in prison. She got out and didn't miss a beat, got a job, started plugging in and working in our youth program. And when Kiwi steps into a youth program and starts talking, pretty much every kid, whether it's a girl or a boy or a young woman or a young man, starts listening. And she obviously is making change in their lives. It's the time when some of us adults need to step back and let the other adults that have been there and been impacted actually speak to the kids and make a change and a difference. And she does that on a daily basis. And she's also not just done that with the IF Project. She's gone to school and just recently graduated from Evergreen State College in urban development, which is a huge deal. So Kiwi, I could go on and on and on. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I am so unbelievably grateful to have met you all those years ago when we started the IF Project. And I firmly believe that the IF Project would not be what the IF Project is without you there the entire way. And I appreciate your ups and downs and backs and forths with us, and like pushing us when we needed to, and us listening to people that have been impacted and telling us what we need to do and how we need to be better. And the work that how you do the work with the kids, I can never put into words. So you, my friend, are the recipient of the 2020 Changing Paths Award, and you have changed so many people's paths, including my own. And I consider you family and friend, and thank you so much.
And if I was around you and COVID didn't exist, I would hand you this really cool little plaque with your name on it, which you will get. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Appreciate your kind words. I'm grateful for this award. If Project has meant a lot to me. It's changed my life. And every time I speak to those children, those young adults, I don't know, it just does something to me and gives me more purpose in life. And I've always been here to help folks, and it has been the conduit for me to be able to do that. And I appreciate you all just as much. So thank you.
You bet. And I will say on a side note, because you're one of the principals in the If Project documentary as well, when you and I show up and we talk to the people after they're sobbing watching the documentary, you continue to change hearts and minds. So thank you for doing that and just being out there and making change in the world, and making it a better place, especially turning the system upside down to make it better for everybody involved. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Wow. Whew. Wow is like such a great word to describe what we just experienced.
Yes.
This entire morning.
Been
How are
intense.
you feeling?
I'm so honored and excited and jazzed and feel like I need to go run or something. And I'm just, I
Wow.
can't, so many people showed up and thank you so very much.
Yeah, it is. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Almost 200 people participated this morning. So many of you gave from your heart. I'd love if we have the ability to show up the leaderboard. So right now, we've collectively raised $38,260 for the If Project.
Thank you so much.
And what we all know about raising money for social justice issues is it doesn't ever end. And so this link will remain up until Monday night, September 28th at midnight.
Yep.
But you all know that this work, this push continues way beyond that. So thank you for showing up and really standing firm in your commitment.
Thank you so very much, Debbie, for all that you and Janae did. And I think that we should probably turn it over to Janae now. She's going to introduce so cool. Please stay. I hope you're still all there, but please stay. The most amazing musical number, original, created by participants and staff and volunteers. Take it away, Janae.
Yeah. So I hope you all are ready to be moved by music. I know I am. My heart is already doing the electric slide right now. But performing an original song just for this event, they created this just for this event. We told you we have surprise guests. So it is my honor to introduce program coordinator for the If Project, Kurt Myers. Also, former director of programming and facilitation for the If Project, Amber Flame. In 2020, recipient of the Changing Paths Award, Kiwi Hamilton. Check them out.
I'm stuck between the hard place and the rock, like concrete in the cop. I can't breathe, but I ain't ready to stop living. The hate is thick, the climate is frigid. Got a target on my back, cause I'm black and I'm gifted. They stop the killing if we stop the resisting. Who they kidding? I know about the traps I was put in, destined to fail, but I prevailed. Remember sitting in my cell with $1 million bail, knowing damn well I wasn't gonna make it. Lord have mercy, they trying to murk me. Why they wanna hurt me? Why they wanna hurt me? I'm giving you the best that I got, am I not worthy? I've given you the best that I got, that I not earning. 13 in the pen, do I still deserve this? No, that label on my back, yeah, it's time to burn it, cause
I know I'm not the same. I can feel the change. I know I'm not the same. I give myself back my name.
I can recall it all so vividly. Feeling like I caught a century when they sentenced me. Only 17 and they sent me to the penitentiary like I was mentally culpable or able to cope with all the pain that resulted from having a brain whose prefrontal cortex ain't fully developed yet. That's just some scholarship supporting evidence-based prison policies that ain't properly sponsored yet. That's just politics. But back to the author, Walla Walla 2006, he started polishing, started going to college and started gaining more knowledge, plotting, planning, scheming on ways to break the bondage. Cause even if you could fade the bail bondsman, not even Cochran will keep you from getting locked in. Like not again, wondering where it all went. Where did it all begin? Where does the story end?
I know I'm not the same. I can feel the change. I know I'm not the same. I gave myself back my name.
Giving it the best that I got, and my best is a lie. But a lot ain't enough, cause the system's corrupt.
So we're switching it up like the mix on the track. And if it's a gift, so we're giving it back. Yeah, we're giving it back. Said we're giving it back.
Woo-hoo! Okay, wait. Everybody, we love these kinds of interruptions. We apologize.
This is unscripted.
But yes, but yes.
Literally, like I was going to take my mic off, and we just got an anonymous $25,000 gift. I am so excited. Unscripted, unplanned. Holy crap.
So if we see what's happening right now, we have jumped quite a bit to $63,360, which means we are only $1,640 away from $65,000, which is a yummy number to say. So if you're still with us, and we have so many people who are still with us, if you can give anything right now to help bump us to that $65,000 mark, we would be so very grateful. But
thanks so much.
We're so excited.
Holy crap.
And that's all. We wanted to interrupt with great news.
We're gonna let you relax and enjoy the musical amazingness of DJ Summersoft, also known as RMC Janae.